I always thought my brother and I were inseparable. But the day Mom got sick, I realized he wasn't the brother I thought I had. And when she passed, he was gone. Emotionally, completely gone. My name is Aaron Turner. I grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania, a place where everyone knew your parents, your siblings, your business before you even got your first job. My younger brother Mark and I were 2 years apart, and as kids, we were inseparable. We shared a bedroom, rode the same school bus, and played catch in the backyard until fireflies lit the evening sky. Dad used to joke, "Aaron's the anchor, Mark's the storm." He was right. I liked order, rules, predictability. Mark thrived on chaos, mischief, and adventure. But together we balanced each other out, or so I thought. When Dad left us, literally packed his bags one night and disappeared, it changed everything. Mom cried for weeks and Mark and I clung to each other. I promised him, "I'll always look out for you." I meant it with all my heart. I didn't realize that promise would be tested in ways I wasn't prepared for. Growing up wasn't perfect. Money was tight. Dad worked long hours and Mom took odd jobs to help make ends meet. But despite it all, we laughed, we fought, we made memories. I remember one winter night when the power went out, and we built a fort in the living room with blankets and chairs. Mark insisted on reading scary stories by flashlight. I hated being scared, but I stayed because he laughed at every shriek I made. That laughter, it's the sound I would cling to in the years to come. When Dad left, Mark and I became each other's parents in a way. I cooked, cleaned, helped him with homework. He brought the fun, the chaos, the wild ideas that made our lives feel normal despite the emptiness Dad left behind. I thought that bond could withstand anything. High school came and life started to pull us in different directions. I took the steady route, good grades, part-time jobs, and eventually college. Mark, meanwhile, chased bigger dreams, or illusions of them. He wanted fast money, fast cars, parties, and friends who looked glamorous on social media. I often bailed him out, unpaid rent, minor legal troubles. One night he called me from a police station. I never hesitated. I told myself, he's my brother. Family takes care of family. Mom tried to mediate, but she had her own battles. She worked long hours trying to support us while Dad was gone. She leaned on me for stability and I gave it. I thought I could handle everything. But slowly the cracks began to show. Mom's cancer diagnosis came like a punch to the gut. Stage 3 aggressive. I became her caretaker, managing her medications, driving her to endless doctor appointments, juggling my own job. Mark? He vanished into his world, barely checking in. I begged him to help. "Just come for one appointment," I said. "Mom needs you." He had excuses. "Work's too busy. I'll come next weekend. You're better at this anyway." And deep down I started feeling that nagging, impossible truth. Mark was slipping away, not physically, but emotionally. The night Mom was rushed to the hospital, Mark was nowhere to be found. I called him again and again. No answer. Texts ignored. I could feel panic rising in my chest. I sat by Mom's bedside for hours, holding her hand while she slept, praying she would make it through the night. She did, but the look in her eyes was different. Frail, scared, lonely. And I realized something. I was carrying the weight of this family alone. A week later Mom passed. The funeral was a blur. Mark showed up late, sunglasses hiding his eyes, smelling of alcohol. He hugged me and said, "You'll be fine, man. You're the strong one." I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell him he had been absent through everything that mattered. But I didn't. I just nodded. After Mom's death, I found myself replaying childhood memories, juxtaposing them with what our lives had become. I remembered the fort we built, the snowball fights, the nights Mark whispered, "Promise me we'll always be brothers." And I felt betrayed, not just by Mark but by fate itself. I had kept the family together through everything. Dad's disappearance, financial struggles, Mom's illness. And still, Mark was gone emotionally, drifting into a life where I no longer existed as his anchor, only as a reminder of responsibility. I blamed myself at first. Did I do too much? Did I smother him? The questions haunted me. But deep down I knew it wasn't me. It was choices, priorities, selfishness that tore him away. In the weeks that followed, I tried to maintain a semblance of normal life. I kept Mom's house, now filled with silence. Friends called asking if I was okay. I said yes, but I wasn't. Every corner reminded me of Mom's laughter, Mark's mischievous grin, and the brother I'd lost. Mark would occasionally call. Short, perfunctory conversations about bills, Mom's belongings, or nothing at all. I realized he was still part of my life, but only as a shadow. The brother I grew up with, the one I fought for, laughed with, shared secrets with, was gone. Months later I couldn't hold it in anymore. I called Mark and said, "We need to talk." Really talk. We met at a coffee shop downtown. He looked the same on the surface, but I could see the distance in his eyes. I tried, Aaron, he said casually. Life got in the way. I can't always be there. I leaned in. You're my brother. You promised me you'd be there. For Mom, for me, for us. And you weren't. Do you even care? He shrugged. I care. Just, not the way you think. That hit me harder than anything. Not anger. Not betrayal. Just the realization he never really saw me as family in the way I saw him. I drove home after that meeting and sat in Mom's empty living room. The house was quiet. Too quiet. I could hear the wind through the trees outside, the memories echoing in the empty space. I cried, not just for Mom, not just for Mark, but for the life I thought I had, the bond one thought would never break. And then I realized something profound. Even if Mark never comes back, even if our bond is lost forever, I am still here. I am still standing. I will carry the memories, the lessons, the love. But I will no longer carry guilt or anger. I will no longer wait for someone who doesn't see me the way I see them. I won't forgive Mark. Not yet, maybe not ever, but I forgive myself for hoping, for loving, for holding on. And in that acceptance I find strength. Not in his presence, but in my own resilience. Because sometimes family isn't just blood. Sometimes it's the people who show up. And sometimes, it's just surviving the ones who walk away.